State Veterans Club. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may now be seated.
Remember, the one means first part, not team one. It's mostly for myself.
Please rise. President Cheryl Lovell, the Board of Trustees, and the Platform Party. Associates graduates. Art and theater. Biology, earth science. Business. chemistry, computer science, mathematics. English and mass communication. History, anthropology, philosophy, political science, and Spanish. Human performance and physical education. Music. Nursing. Psychology. Sociology. Teacher education. University administration and staff. Please be seated. We will now listen to Hypnosis by Ian Clarke, performed by Dr. Tracy Doyle, flute, and Dr. William Lipke, piano. The president of Adams State University, Dr. Cheryl Lovell.
Good morning. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Adams State University, I welcome you to the Spring 2019 Commencement. Adams State continues to graduate outstanding students. Our alumni have become a U.S. Supreme Court of Appeals judge, CEO of the American College of Physicians, a United States Senator, founder of E-Trade, and equally important nurses, educators, artists, social workers, and other vital roles they perform in our communities across the San Luis Valley, across Colorado, and across the world. At Adams State, we believe our students earn degrees that matter. Seated before me are our new graduates with the acquired skills to reach their full potential. Thank you for being here today to support these graduates. To those of you watching from a distance, we welcome you and know that you are here in spirit and in thought. At this time, I'd like to introduce the chair of the Adams State Board of Trustees, Mr. Cleave Simpson.
Thank you, Dr. Lovell. Good morning, everybody. What a gorgeous day in the San Luis Valley. I think that was even a bit of the sunshine coming out this morning after 3 days. So, on behalf of the Board of Trustees for Adams State University, it's both my honor and privilege to welcome you to our spring commencement today. Congratulations to all the graduates. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize my fellow trustees in attendance, if you'd stand and be recognized. So, Trustee Kathy Rogers. Trustee Pam Bricker. Trustee Randy Wright. Trustee Michelle Leake. Trustee John Singletary. And Trustee Wendell Pryor. So 2 trustees, Reeves Brown and Donna Grego, couldn't be here, but they send their regards and congratulations. Also like to recognize our student trustee, Cody Trujillo. And a special thank you to our faculty trustee, Dr. Rob Benson. Dr. Benson is finishing his 3rd term, 6 years of service to the university and the trustees. Thank you very much, Dr. Benson. And welcome, Dr. James Doyle will assume those responsibilities next month, I believe. So welcome, Dr. Doyle. Thank you. ASU's institutional mission is to educate, serve, and inspire our diverse populations in the pursuit of their lifelong dreams and ambitions. There are 360 undergraduates for today's commencement. The board thanks you for choosing ASU. Certainly your tenure at this institution was most likely coincided with a variety of very significant and challenging set of circumstances. Your patience, faith, and trust in this institution is recognized and valued by the board and this community. I would also like to take the opportunity likewise to thank the faculty, the staff, classified, administration, coaches, and the community on and off the campus for that same set of patience, faith, and trust. Thank you all very much. So of the 360 graduates, roughly a third are from the Valley. Thank you for staying close to home. Thank you, family and friends, for keeping them here close to home. Appreciate that very much. Approximately 40% are first-generation graduates, and 40% come from low-income households. Awesome. The university continues to work hard to honor our institutional mission. Look, I'm going to keep my messages and comments rather brief, and I'm going to yield my time to Dr. Vigil. So The Board of Trustees wish you well as you finalize Chapter 1 of your great story today. I think you and I share a sense of great optimism about our forever linked paths forward. Good things, no, great things are in both our futures. The Board of Trustees again thanks you and congratulates you. And borrowing from Dr. Nearing last year, I'm going to close with a quote from that great American philosopher, Dr. Seuss. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive is more youer than you. So, you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair Simpson. Jessica Moorman is a perfect representation of the type of student Adams State helps to excel and reach their full academic and personal and professional potential. Adams State made her feel valued, supported, and wanted. She says the university showed her how to be a great student and allowed her to grow personally and academically. And now Jessica plans on pursuing her passions for helping people with the goal of eventually entering the legal profession. A Sangre de Cristo High School graduate here in the San Luis Valley, Jessica applied her skills acquired at Adams State as a psychology major to work as a youth coach counselor at Sage Youth Center. While there, she had a positive influence on children, engaging them in worthwhile activities, used cognitive behavior therapy to assist the youth in redirecting poor habits, and provided guidance and advice to help cultivate self-esteem and community involvement. A member of the Student Support Services Program, Jessica worked with the Upward Bound program, tutoring high school students. Class of 2019, friends, family, and members of the Adams State community, please welcome the Class of 2019 Student Commencement Speaker, Jessica Moorman.
Morning, y'all. Hello, everyone, and thank you, President Lovell, for that awfully kind introduction. As she mentioned before, my name is Jessica Moorman, and I cannot begin to tell you all how psyched I am to be here this morning. Glad that went over well. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy early Mother's Day as well. So, as well as a very kind farewell to a professor that has told me it is his last graduation. So Professor Dembski, I am very honored to have been one of your students, and I wish you nothing but the best on your grandest adventures from here on out. I would like to take a small moment to thank everyone in attendance this morning, physically, metaphorically, and spiritually. And I would like to extend with a gratitude that cannot be measured in any capacity, a thank you to anyone who did not believe that they would make it here today, intellectually, emotionally, or physically. To my fellow graduates, today is a day of pride and self-admiration. We're the graduating class of We Made It. And come on. And I mean this phrase with all weight and great seriousness. I know many of us didn't believe that we would make it here today due to circumstances that may have come close to defeating us. Those invisible wars that we fight on occasion, or for some of us all the time, are very real. Just because others do not see them does not make them irrelevant or unimportant. You are important, and you are enough, 1,000 times enough. Therefore, with that being said, if nobody has told you this lately, at least I'm immensely proud of y'all. And you're doing just fine, I promise. Now, Adams State University is said to be where great stories begin. To me, a story's beginning can be kind of dull and, dry because you're, building your characters and the plot line is unfolding every day. And the fact that we can all kind of cringe at our past selves truly shows that our character is still developing. My story of being a student here at Adams State University isn't any more special than the next person's. My story began with the admittance to the Student Support Services Summer Scholar Program. In this program, I found my love of education and striving for success. I was mentored while in Student Support Services to speak up for my education. Long story short, without the help of this program, I wouldn't be standing before y'all, graduating an entire year ahead of schedule. So thank you to Morgan and Isaiah for everything that you guys had done for me. I don't know where you're at, but... Thanks. Adams State has taught me many things while on its grounds, and I've condensed my years into 4 main lessons I would like to share with you all. Number 1, laugh more. Accept that the little things in life are funny, like slipping on the ice in the McDaniel parking lot in January, or always being winded at the top of the McDaniel stairs no matter how many times you'll climb them, or work out. Laughter is a language that everyone can understand, but don't laugh to fit in. One can tell if another's laugh is disingenuous, and if your laughter is not honest, it's a forgery that will fool only yourself. Learn to laugh for no reason at all if you have to. To me, laughter is the most underused medicinal remedy to life woes. Number 2, apologize and forgive others. Accept early on that you will not always be right and that you won't always be wrong. With an apology, it is an atonement of one's pride, and pride can be repaired if broken, don't worry. An explanation of what you did or why you did it will never vindicate you. If the cost to heal someone is your pride, just learn to apologize and be grateful that you received peace at such a fair price. Next comes forgiveness. If you have trouble with the action of forgiveness, take everything in life in which you have felt wronged, unfairly treated, or anything you ever wanted to be forgiven for but weren't. Now dry swallow that feeling. Understand forgiveness can be painful, but forgiveness is never something that should be put on a time clock. Be prepared to wait, and wait a little longer if you need to, for patience is a virtue. Number 3, exercise. I know, all right, I was waiting for a collective groan, but okay. I know it's kind of a drag, but I mean, just double step the stairs if you can reach them and count that as your cardio, or do what I do. It's always leg day when you're running full bore in the opposite direction of your problems. Along with these and other great reasons, exercise helps combat depression, and we could all stand to live in a world with a lot less depression looming around. I've been told muscle is created by repetitively lifting things that are designed to weigh us down. So when your shoulders feel heavy, stand up straight. Lift your chin. Call that therapy if you need to. Sorry, I missed my spot. Remember, life is a gym membership with a super complicated cancellation policy. And don't ever forget that the human heart beats approximately 4,800 times an hour. Each pound, each throb is a trophy engraved with the words, "You are still alive, and you are still here," which means we still got some work to do. Number 4, know your worth. This is the most important one to me. I believed for the longest time all I was ever worth was what my GPA ranked me as, and let me tell y'all, I am so glad to be out of that mindset. I feel as if the pressures of competitive academics have been unfairly pushed upon us as students, and we're always taught to be the best at everything. And to be completely candid, it's not always a competition against someone else. Just because this pattern has been running rampant in past generations doesn't mean that it has to continue in this one. I've never seen such bright-eyed people become so heartbroken over a grade that I had in these past couple of years. Graduates, please remember, one grade will not solve world hunger or fix foreign relations and somehow inadvertently cause world peace. Please be more aware of what is worth your energy and know what you bring to the table of life. Don't ever be disheartened if you got to sit alone for a little while. Worthy company is sure to come along. Just be patient. Now, on to the fun stuff. Now, y'all know I wouldn't be a good psychology major if I didn't mention Freud at least once in here. I know. I tried to work it into a pun. It doesn't ring a bell like Pavlov. Even though Freud was found to be practically a fraud, he had some good points. And Freud's ideas pertaining to self-perspective can, to me, be summed up quite nicely in the following quote. In retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Freud believed that with its shame and drudgery, it is still a beautiful world full of dreams just waiting to be interpreted. Now, basing this next portion on perspective and self-image, I would like to be candid with you all. Ever since I was a wee little tot, which I know looking at me now is a little bit hard to believe, but I've always had a deep-set fear of one day people seeing me the way I see myself. I see myself as a weak person most days because I have a heart that's far too strong, and I would let things get to me to a point where my feelings would run wild. However, I'm slowly learning that it's not just a curse, but a blessing to feel things so deeply. That was a little dark. Let me lighten this up just a little bit. So, even the strongest of superheroes have similar problems. You know, Wonder Woman had a nervous breakdown, Daredevil even suffered from depression, and we all are aware of Batman's constant identity crisis. I had to come to grips with the fact that my character in my story was evolving into its hero. Sometimes we have to be the black-clad villain first before we can learn that our powers will be ultimately used for good. I wasn't the Deadpool versus Wolverine of my own story, and I didn't have to choose between being the better of two evils. This one's a stretch, but stick with me. I was, in fact, Bruce Banner. I could easily slip back into the dark thoughts again if I didn't learn how to keep my cool. I often have to bargain with my inner Hulk for him to take the day off. Now, in the Marvel Universe, it is said that Spider-Man once told a joke to the Incredible Hulk that was so funny that it allowed him to laugh and calm down and let him come back to being Bruce Banner. Now, isn't it funny how laughter can sometimes pull you out of those dark spots? Now, I do not claim to know much in this life so far, but I can be certain of this. Life really is worth all the trouble it takes to live it. I know how it feels not to value the life in oneself sometimes. Take my struggles as a parable and heed the caution in my words. I had to learn how to be kind, not just to others, but mostly to myself, and care for myself the way I would for others. Sometimes you have to put yourself first. And I challenge you all now to do the same. Tell yourself, I am worthy, I am enough, and I am wanted. The simple kindnesses we offer to ourselves now are not worthless. We are all worth a lot more than we think. One last item I would like to leave you all with. Please, as you go out into the world, do not ration your hearts. You can ruin a beautiful life by desensitizing yourself. We're all too afraid to say too much or to feel too deeply and to let people know what they truly mean to us. I can assure you all, no armchair theorist will tell you that caring is synonymous with the word crazy. There is a grand courage in living a life as if it is truly your own. Adams State, with your amazing history and tenacity to serve this community for the continuation of higher education, I thank you. I am honored to say, once a Grizzly, always a Grizzly. And to the class of 2019, staff, administrators, faculty, friends, and family, thank you for indulging me this morning. Hold fast. No matter which way your roads diverge, take the road less traveled on, because that is where the grandest of adventures will await you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica, for those wise words. In addition to our commencement, today we are here to honor Dr. Joe I. Vigil with an honorary doctorate degree in human performance and physical education. Coach Vigil needs little introduction for those among us who stand in awe of his many achievements, not only in the world of competitive athletics, but also through lectures, books, trainings. Coach Vigil has inspired many to reach their full potential as they meet personal and professional goals. A little over 50 years, Coach Vigil accepted a position at Adams State and started his legacy as a distance running coach and motivator of athletes. You can read his impressive bio in today's program, a rather condensed version for sure. I want to share my impressions after first meeting Coach Vigil and observing him in action last summer. Never a man to dream small, Coach Vigil, along with Buddy Edelin and Jack Cotton, convinced the 1968 Olympic Organizing Committee to allow the first ever U.S. Olympic marathon trials to be held here in Alamosa. Last July, distance running greats from across the United States joined former Adams State champions here for a 50th reunion of the Alamosa Olympic Marathon Trials. It was an exciting and memorable time. Beyond the autographs and the incredible buzz the famous athletes created, what impressed me most was Coach Vigil's philosophy on fitness and life and his care and devotion for individuals who helped along the way. It was also noteworthy to see who Dr. Vigil recognized among the running royalty at the 50th reunion. He paid special tribute to a man who spent his entire career working for the Adams State University Facility Services Department, Mr. Frank Boogie Romero. Before the world knew the worth and value of Coach, Boogie kept the Adams State track well prepared and fit for collegiate competitions. And decades later, after traveling the world among elite athletes, Coach never forgot Boogie or stopped appreciating his services. I also learned how Coach Vigil and his wife, Caroline, often shared meals and words of wisdom with student athletes and provided comfort and encouragement when the races didn't have the anticipated results. Last summer, I too became an admirer of Coach Vigil, whose comment at the final reunion event continues to resonate with me. If you have passion for something, then you will have a purpose for your existence. When I called him earlier this winter, asked him if he would be our speaker today, thankfully he agreed. We started talking about the logistics and about how he was going to get here, and he was emphatic about the fact he did not want to fly. He went on and said that he had recently returned from a trip overseas and had no desire to get on another plane anytime soon. When I asked where he had been, he said he had just returned from Monaco, where he had received the 2018 IAAF Coaching Achievement Award that was presented to him by Prince Albert of Monaco. I kind of felt a little embarrassed when I shared that we wanted to award him an honorary doctorate. As I said, we don't have a prince to make that presentation. He quickly stated that the award in Monaco was nice, but a recognition from Adams State University was more important. He went on to say that if it weren't for Adams State, nothing would be possible. He said, Adams State has allowed me to do everything that I have done. He's also an amazing example of a lifelong learner, as his new research projects are focused on the neuroplasticity and how the mind impacts one's ability to do activities. So it's with great pride and all the royalty of Adams State University that we have this honor and chance to present Dr. Joe Vigil with an honorary doctorate in human performance and physical education. Incidentally, it's the first doctorate degree awarded by HPPE, and actually one of the last degrees, as the program has changed its name to kinesiology. So now I would ask the coach, Dr. Joe Vigil, and Dr. Vila to please join me on the stage.
Thank you for those kind words.
We're going to put you first, okay?
All right.
Let me take your poke.
Just put it down there. It'll be green and white.
Green and white. Okay, I'm going to turn around and get you from back. Without, see if we can do this without knocking off your mortarboard.
Perfect.
And his diploma.
Through your extraordinary work as a coach, professor, author, and speaker, you have influenced the world around you through the power of human performance and physical education. With an outstanding ability to motivate, encourage, and train all levels of athletes, you have achieved world-class recognition in the sport of distance running, cross-country, and track and field. We are honored to bestow on you the honorary degree of Doctor of Human Performance and Physical Education.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees for Adams State University, I do now hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Human Performance and Physical Education, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. I'm a little overwhelmed, and I think you can understand why. I am delighted to be here today on the occasion of this graduation. My first year at Adams State, 1965, was the first year that they opened Plocky Hall. And I'm looking at all these beautiful people out here now. I never imagined that I would be up here talking to you today. Dr. Lovell, thank you for those generous remarks. Board of Regents, faculty, distinguished guests, parents, friends, and above all, graduates, congratulations for being here. I know that you've been looking forward to this day very eagerly. After all, you've already accomplished all the academic rigors that were presented to you, and you've achieved. What a remarkable thing. As I look out at this group of people, in 1953, I sat there, but it was in Richardson Hall. That was 60-some years ago. But it brings back fond memories of that day. You'll never forget them. And you'll never forget anything that you accomplish with hard work and dedication. I'm here to tell you that there's no finer institution in the world than Adams State College. I've sat in boardrooms with Harvard graduates, Yale graduates, and they knew nothing more than what I knew that I was taught at Adams State. They gave me the foundation that I needed, and I knew it and I believed in it. There were 3 professors at Adams State that had a remarkable influence on me. And there's not a week that goes by that I don't think about them, because I'm either get a phone call or an email, ask me a question, and I refer back to these people. The first of them is Dr. Dale Lorimer, who was in the education department. And he would work all day teaching in education. At night, he would travel 20, 25 miles to help Blanca and Fort Garland establish their educational programs there. He taught me what compassion was all about. Then there was Dr. James Kraft, head of the science department, and my personal mentor in biology and chemistry. And he taught me all about wisdom. He was forever reading. He would sell tickets at the football games, the basketball games. He always had his book there and would read. He taught me how to read and how to pursue wisdom. And to this day, I still get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I read something in my field, some research article, something that will help me inspire somebody else. Then, of course, the third one is Dr. John Turano, who was the academic dean at the time. He was such a marvelous instructor, and he taught me all about the pursuit of excellence. never be satisfied with mediocrity. Don't be satisfied with average. And as you go out in the world and you get your various jobs, don't be satisfied with just doing an average job. Shoot for the top, because you're from Adams State. And you'll remember that. No matter what field you go into, people, whether it's music or law or teaching or medicine, whatever, your primary responsibility is to make this world a better place to live in. The thing that salvaged me is when I traveled to another country, being bilingual helped me out. And then I was studying the requirements for a coaching licentiate degree to coach track and field in Europe. And I went to Finland, and the prerequisite there was you have to know 4 foreign languages before they'll even admit you to school. So pursue a foreign language here or abroad or wherever you're going to go, because it'll help you out immensely. I can't even remember what was said at my commencement address or what they were driving at, but what starts here can change the world. It has happened here. We established a coaching education program in 101 that has been declared by the IAF and the IOC as the outstanding coaching education program in the world, and they fully fund it today. Just think, the average American will encounter 10,000 people in their lives. As you go out and you start meeting people, you'll encounter 10,000 people. If every one of you changes the life of 10 people, and those 10 will change the life of 10 others, in 5 generations, 125 years, you will have influenced the lives of 800 million people, over twice the population that we have today. And it can start right here. It is our responsibility to make this world a better place, as you well know. We have so much chaos out there today, we don't know whether we're coming or going. But you have a responsibility. Make it a better place to live in. We need that more than ever, people. You already have a head start. You're an American. No matter what happens in this country, you're American. You're the luckiest people in the world. You constitute 5% of the total population. But 95% of the population does not have the privilege that you have. There are 2 axioms. You have the freedom to choose what you want to do and what you want to be and what you want to become. That's a birthright here in America. People in other countries don't have this privilege. The second axiom is you have the freedom to choose how good you want to be. Do you want to be average, poor, or do you want to be excellent? What is your goal? I was in Havana, Cuba many years ago. I got invited for an invitational meet, the Juan Barrientos Invitational. And we had a boycott against Cuba. We couldn't go as a team, but because I could speak Spanish, they'd always allow me to go with a few athletes, a few of them from Adams State as well. And I met a young man, Jovio Sotomayor, and he was a high jumper, very good high jumper. And I conversed with him, and he told me what he did every day, training and all that. About 5 or 6 years later, I was in Sevilla, Spain for the Indoor World Championship. And lo and behold, Javier Sotomayor was there competing. And that day, he broke the world record, 8 feet, 1/2 inch. And I had a VIP pass, so I went down on the track to congratulate him. And he remembered me. And I said, Javier, what motivated you to do this? He said, Coach, when I was 10 years old, one of my fellow countrymen, Alberto Juan Torena, won the gold medal in the 400 and 800 in Montreal. And at that point, 10 years of age, I decided to dedicate my life to bring glory to my country. No matter what the country was, he committed and dedicated and worked until he broke that world record. So it can be done when you have a passion, people. You have these freedoms, but you have to develop a passion. I don't know what your passions are. You may have one, two, maybe a half a dozen. But have a purpose in your life. Pursue something. And I know that that passion will change from year to year or from experience to experience and become higher and higher and higher. But you got to have that passion. Remember that you can't do anything towards excellence without right living. And I mean that. I coach Olympic athletes now. I have 7 or 8 of them that I'm working with. And when they sign up to work with me, I see this passion that they have. And I'm responsible for getting them up to the Olympic level. I'm also responsible for trying to get them a shoe contract. And it's worth a lot of money today. So I have a bunch of rules. And every 4 months I take them to San Diego and give them tests in human performance to see if their fitness level has gone down. I give them panels, a hemopoietic, a hormone, an enzyme panel. And if there is any wrongdoing, I can detect it chemically. I immediately notify the shoe company and they have a reduction in salary. So they have to learn to live right as long as they're going to be serving in that profession. So remember that. There are 3 dangers that you're going to be faced with today. The most important danger is hypokinesis, underactivity. All I do is hear coaches say, well, coach, I can retire in another 5 years, when they've given the profession 15, 20, 25 years. And the minute they quit being inactive. You're responsible for burning 800 calories a day to maintain your health, to maintain a vivid metabolism, to evenly as long as you live. But today, the people are overweight, they're suffering from sugar diabetes, they're obese, and they're inactive. And they gloat in that they don't have to do this or that. Try to be as healthy as you can, as long as you can. But the biggest epidemic is don't lose your gravity. Don't quit doing things. Because once you start losing that pursuit for knowledge, when knowledge stops, you stop living. So continue that pursuit of education and excellence as long as you live. The first thing that you have to do is to establish goals for yourself. I know you've had goals to get a degree, and those goals will amplify and get bigger as you go on. But the 4 things that I want you to know is that those goals have to be realistic. They have to be quantifiable. And they have to be within your personal control. I started working here and I had a hero at Fort Hays State in Kansas, Alex Francis. And I used to follow him everywhere he went. Very successful coach. Didn't know one scientific principle from another. But he was a great coach because he could coach that 9 inches above your shoulder. He could get into people's head. And if you can get into your hearts and into their head, then you can motivate them. Anyway, I became involved with my profession and I went to the first National NAIA convention. And lo and behold, at that time, the NAIA had 4 people on the Olympic Committee, the NC2A had 4 people, the YMCA had 4 people, and the High School Federation 4, and the Junior College Federation 4. And they composed the Olympic Committee in track and field. Well, all of a sudden, Alex Francis nominates me. I'd been teaching 3 years, and I got put on the Olympic Committee, and I knew nothing. You see why I pursued an education and still pursue it? You never learn enough. Well, we used to get $90 a year for professional travel at Adams State. And my first Olympic meeting was in Chicago. But you can see how far I got in $90. I had to go borrow money to go to the convention. But anyway, at that time, the AAU and the NCAA were having a power struggle. And they were selecting coaches for the World Championships, the University Games in Moscow in 1973. Alex again nominates me to be the head coach. And I just about died. But because the AU didn't like the NC2A, all the AU people voted for me, and I didn't know a single one of them. So 3 years after I started, I got my first international coaching assignment in Moscow. Believe me, I studied and learned as much as I could, day in and day out, and it still goes on. So I want you to remember those things. There are 4 things that you're going to encompass during your life, and that's the journey. You just completed one of your journeys now, getting your undergraduate degree or some of your graduate degrees. And you knew how long it was going to take, 4 years, 5 years, maybe some of you gifted ones, 3 years, depending on whatever. But as you go on and you advance professionally, you may go into medicine. It'll take another 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Or any other field to get to the top of your profession, because you'll always want to learn everything that you're going to have. You continue to learn and to study everything that you can possibly get a hold of so that you can advance in your profession and help this be a better world. The second thing is you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges. Every day you're put to the test. I know the academic rigors you just went through, that these professors put you to the test and you were challenged. How do you wear that cap as a student, as a friend, as a family member, as a church member? The challenge is how you wear that cap. You see, are you going to be an asset or a liability? The challenge is how you focus in on the task at hand. Be sure that you're ready to do those things. Have a positive effect on your mind at all times, and have a positive effect on everyone you come in contact with. The challenge is, what kind of a positive impact are you going to have on your society? Be careful what you say. One of my former athletes from Adams State, Jim Bevan, coaches at Rice in Houston, Texas. And he'd always bring his team up to meet the old coach. And there was a little girl there, and Jim would say, "Coach, tell him a story." So I'd tell him a little story. Well, for 4 years, she'd come up to me, cross-country, indoor and outdoor track. She'd say, "Coach, tell me another story." Her name was Becky Wade. Wade versus Roe. That was his little granddaughter. Anyway, she graduated summa cum laude from her graduating class. And at Rice, when they did that, they were eligible for a Woodcraft Fellowship worth $100,000 for 1 year, and you could do anything you want with that $100,000. And little to me, I didn't know, but she took the stories that I told her for 4 years, and she wrote a proposal on studying the running cultures of the world. And she won the Woodcraft Scholarship. And she went all over the world studying the running cultures. I immediately penned an email for her to present to coaches and athletes that I knew here and there on all 5 continents. And she never spent $1 a single night for a hotel room. When she got back, the challenge was to let the world know what the rest of the world thought about running. And she wrote a book, Run the World, by Becky Wade. That was her challenge, and she covered it well. I started my PhD work at Toledo University in Toledo, Ohio in 1969. And there was a guy that walked on the moon, Neil Armstrong, in 1969. And they honored him that summer. And little did I know that he just lived 60 miles south of Toledo. So I threw the family in the car. We went down to pay homage to this great feat, Wapakoneta, Ohio. And the reporter asked him a question, Neil, what if when you were flying 17,000 miles an hour out in space and you fired your retro rockets, what would have happened if they wouldn't fire? And he looked up at him and said, you know what? It would merely have ruined my whole day. So these are the challenges you're going to be faced with, good, bad, and indifferent. Courage. You got to have courage, people. You can accomplish whatever you set out to do if you follow the right plan and if you live right. You have to keep going under the most difficult situations that are confronted. You have to learn to overcome anything that is thrown up against you. I used to go in the coffee room and people would say, I don't know what I'm going to do. They had no goal. They were mad. They didn't like their jobs. They complained about being in a rut. They didn't have a plan. They think that it was too hard to start all over again, and they lacked the confidence. The main reason that people don't accomplish things is because of their indecision. Decide what it is you want to do and go after it, because you were prepared at Adams State to meet those challenges. I have one story on courage I want to tell you by one of my former runners, Pat Porter, who graduated from Adams State. He went to Metro State one year, but decided Adams State was the best, so he came to Alma Mater. He never won a meet for 2 years. He worked hard, but sort of a smart aleck. One day we were driving to Boulder, Colorado to the Rocky Mountain Shootout. He was already a junior. He'd never won a meet. He pokes me on the shoulder and says, Coach, I'm going to win tomorrow. And I said to myself, yeah, you're going to win, Pat. CU has a graduate by the name of Neil Armstrong that broke the world record in high school, the junior record in the 5K, 13:43 in high school. He was a senior, had won 8 Big 8 championships at the time. There was also another young man from Los Alamos, New Mexico, Rick Rojas, who had just broken the American record at 15K. And Pat Porter's going to beat these guys, and he'd never won a meet. Anyway, his dad used to get up at 4 in the morning and have coffee with me. He says, how's the kid going to do today, Coach? I said, well, he tells me he's going to win. Well, the race started. They had 2 5K loops. And Rojas, Porter, and Scruton ran together. As the second loop started, Scruton takes off, gets about a 50-meter lead. Methodically and slowly, the other two catch him. Then Rojas takes off. And then eventually the other two caught him. And I was standing on a knoll at 5 miles, and Porter takes off. And he won the meet. He won the meet. Adams State College beat CU, that small school up north, for the first time ever. And riding back home, I was sort of curious. I said, Pat, what motivated you to win today? I wanted to use it again next year. And he said, Coach, you tell us that we work harder than anybody in the world, which was true. And I got to thinking, if that's the case, then we should be able to beat anybody in the world. And he lined up on that starting line with that confidence. He had the courage to do that. The fourth thing that you have to do is to have compassion, people. There are people that maybe didn't have the opportunity to go to college. There are people that you're going to meet that are having it tough. Lend a helping hand. Lend a helping hand, whatever you do, to whoever needs it. Because if you can inspire others, if you can motivate others, then you're a leader. And that's what you're taught to be at Adams State. I have a young lady that runs in Big Bear, California. Her dad was a yard worker, Brenda Martinez. They couldn't afford track shoes. She used to run meets in her street. Graduated. I eventually hooked up with her. and she's been an Olympian, a medalist in Moscow for the World Championships. And I said, Brenda, you got to start giving back. So she started a scholarship program for the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Riverside, on. And she selects 10 girls from all the essays that she gets, and they become one of her runners. And once a month, they show up at Big Bear, 7,500 feet, because I require my athletes to be at altitude. I don't coach them unless they live at altitude. And they show up, and in front of their coach and in front of Brenda, they tell how their presence made their school or their home or their church or their team a better place to live in. So you see, this process is going on all the way. I studied a guy by the name of Art Tate McKenzie from Pennsylvania University. And he was an artist, not a poet, but he coined a poem. It went something like this: what other human endeavor, what else is there in life? What other human endeavor can match the healthy ego satisfaction and the moral self-discipline supplied by mental courage, bodily endurance, and muscular strength, those incomparable instruments for living most and serving best. The more you want to serve, the better you want to do. Remember courage, strength, and endurance. I have a little cliche everybody should follow. Eat as though you were a poor man. Do endurance training daily, and don't let your mind go to seed. In conclusion, remember, how far you go in life depends on you being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong, because someday in life you will have been all of these. Congratulations again, and thank you. I think I got everything.
I think I too would be successful with a marathon if I had him coaching me every day. So thank you, Dr. Vigil, for your inspiring words of advice and wisdom. For all of you in today's graduating class, this is a very special day, and it is really also about you. We're extremely proud of you and all that you represent. We are confident with the foundation and excellence you have received here, and you will continue to excel and enhance Adams State's mission in this community and beyond. Now I'm pleased to present the representatives of the faculty of the universities whose excellence and dedication have nurtured these students. By standards of achievement they set for all Adams State graduates, the faculty determined the true quality of this institution. Members of the faculty, please rise and receive our thanks. Thank you. The university staff have fostered the progress of today's graduates in countless ways, providing indispensable support to every university office. The professional and classified staff are vital to all the functions in this institution. Will the members of the university staff please rise and accept our appreciation? Thank you. Seated among the degree candidates here today are students who have been rewarded for their academic achievements by receiving academic scholarships. Will all the students who have been recipients of academic scholarships please rise? Thank you. Your scholarships have been made possible by the generous contributions of Adams State's friends and donors. We thank those individuals, organizations, and corporations that have invested in your dedication and continue to support the university. Many of Adams State's most generous supporters are our alumni, whose ranks you join today. I'd like to now recognize the many Adams State alumni who have joined us on this very special graduation day. Will all Adams State alumni in our audience please stand so that we may recognize you? Thank you. The university has earned a strong reputation for serving non-traditional students exceedingly well. Among our candidates this morning are students who are also parents. Will all degree candidates whose academic achievements served as a model for their own children please stand? Thank you. We congratulate you on the fine example you have set for your families. For all of you of the graduating class this very special day, I know one group is particularly special among you. Will those who are the first in your family to graduate from college please stand? Thank you. A large number of Adams State students are employed either full-time or part-time while obtaining their degrees. Will all those graduates who have worked while attending Adams State please rise? Thank you. We recognize that many Adams State students also served or are serving our country in all branches of the armed forces. Will those of you who are military veterans or who are on active duty or in the reserves please stand? Thank you for your service. The university is proud of the work of today's graduates, and we expect to be proud of their accomplishments in the future. We know that you and the audience are immensely proud of them as well. They are indebted to you for the love, for the support you have given them as they have pursued their educational aspirations. And we'd also like to recognize you at this time. Will the parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, children of these graduates, will you please rise and accept our thanks? Thank you. In 1926, Harriet Dowser Hester crossed the stage as Adams State's first graduate. She was joined with only 4 others. Since then, Adams State has grown from one building in the middle of sand and brush to the beautiful campus it is today. Supporting over 30 bachelor's degrees, 7 master's degrees, and 1 doctorate degree, Adams State is fast approaching a major milestone in its history, our 100th birthday, celebrating the moment the Colorado legislature signed the bill establishing Adams State in 1921. Today's graduates will join the already 21,000 and more strong alum who continue to stay engaged and support Adams State. Our Alumni Association is represented today with several members of the Alumni Board. Among them is Alumni Board President Sandy Ortega. Will members of the Alumni Board please stand? I think they're in the back getting the refreshments ready. We proudly celebrate all of you and all of the Adams State graduates who have come before you. Thank you for the incredible impact you have made and have developed and will continue to have on the human and economic development of the quality of life in the San Luis Valley and in the settings across this great state of Colorado, the country, and the world. Dr. Vila, will you please join me at the podium?
Will the Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Fine Arts candidate please stand? Yeah, that's you. Madam President, on behalf of the faculty of Adams State University, and pursuant to completion of all requirements for the Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, as prescribed by the faculty of Adams State University, I recommend that the appropriate degree be conferred.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees for Adams State University, and upon completion of all requirements prescribed, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, Bachelors of Arts, Bachelors of Science, and Bachelors of Fine Arts, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
Will Margaret Doyle and the associate degree graduates please approach the platform? We pause briefly at this time to acknowledge the loss of two of our own during the last academic year. We call your attention to the two empty seats covered in white. They have been set aside in remembrance of these students. Mr. Cody Hurley passed away during fall semester, and Ms. Millie Mesa early this spring. These are two of our students. They were also someone's children, siblings, friends, classmates, teammates, members of the Adam community. Our hearts are heavy with grief when considering the young, promising lives tragically and suddenly taken away. Their light will be missed as the loss of one diminishes us all. At times like this, we are reminded of the words of the Greek poet Aeschylus, who wrote, "In our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart. In our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." In response to students' requests and to honor their memory, the university leadership has approved the granting of a posthumous associate degree to Mr. Hurley and Ms. Mesa. Professor Doyle.
Milaniela Mesa, awarded posthumously. Cody Ryan Hurley, awarded posthumously. Wendy Carrillo. Mukisha James. Levi Lowe. Ramona A. Martinez. Caitlin Simon.
Will all Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Fine Arts graduates, hey, please stand, you're standing already. Okay.
Will the bachelor's candidates in art and theater please approach the platform?
Yes, thank you.
Sadie E. Baker.
Okay.
Amanda Cahill. Carmela Correa. Gabriel Cruz. Brandon Lee Duran. Anna K. Hanold. Ashley Lopez. Crystal Nicole Gale and Jeremy. Avelia Martinez. Daniel Blake Parsons. Jennifer Perez. Violet Ramsey. Jackson Saylor. Grace Tinky. Elizabeth Dawn Walters. The graduates in art and theater may be seated. Will the graduates from biology and earth science please approach the platform? Stephen Bartlett. Caleb Baumgartner. Alexander James Bridson. Travis Fraker. Ashley Renee Howe. Patrick Huffaker. Jenna K. McLaren. Jose Mix. Sawyer C. Moraine. Samuel Ogden. Adriana Raquel Ortiz. Taylor Rocha. Desiree Monique Sanchez. Julie Starkey. Natasha Tokar. Colton Vessels. Wyatt Wink Moran. graduates in biology and earth science may be seated. Would the graduates of business please approach the platform? Micah Ballantyne. Tanner Beck. Joshua Billingham. Hannah Call. Matthew Contreras. Renee Bustamante. Ethan R. Caton. Rashawn D. Craig. Devere Creighton. Elise Tchaikovsky. Derek De Herrera. Taylor Renee Donnell. Bethany Escobar. Nina Gonzalez. Clayton Gosar. Tyree Harris, number 15. Taylor Madison Hillis. Kenneth Hughes. Kalisha Marie Johnson. Markadrian Janes. Carly Kading. Zachary Carbash. Jesse Clean. Tommy Maestas. David Maldonado Pichardo. Tanner Martin. Zachary Masterson. Ta May. Sergio Mendoza. Madison Merschel. Rachel Mobley. Corrigan Newsom. Esperanza Arashko. Tiffany Price. Dalton Pribble. Sawyer Robinson. Araceli Portillo. Abby L. Stagner. Miranda Marie Romero. Miriam Romero. Jessica Rodriguez. Cesar Serrano. Kyler Sigsby. Catherine Smith. Frederick Stewart. Brecht Van Wees. Dominic Venuto. Malachi Waugh. Brandy Watts. The graduates in business may be seated. Would the graduates in chemistry, computer science, and mathematics approach the platform? Ian Blendon. Zachary Cullens. Tyler Erzin. Jeremiah Roy Givens. Connor Johnson. Colton Kelly. Samuel Augustus Reed. Morris William Sowards. Caroline Aberley Steen. Eric M. Velasquez. The graduates in chemistry, computer science, and math may be seated. Would the graduates in English and communications please approach the platform? Aaron Asher Davis. Michaela Fleming. Eric Hildebrandt. Sarah Johnson. Aaron John Kinitsky. Michael Mondragon. Sarah Emily Patterson. Noah Schaefer. Candace R. Stickland. Brenda Sue Tolian. Graduates in English and Communications may be seated. Would the graduates in History, Anthropology, Philosophy, Political Science, and Spanish please approach the platform? Miriam Esquivel Perez. Sean James Irisi. Catherine Peterson. Larissa Jean Pettigrew. John Tirole. Benjamin Weinberg. The graduates in History, Anthropology, Philosophy, Political Science, and Spanish may be seated. Would the graduates from Human Performance and Physical Education please approach the platform? Justin Barron. Kendall Baylor. Peyton Billingham. Daniel Brennan. Dalton James Carleo. Colin James Cranfield. Tristan L. Holmes. Lane Morgan Hoskinson. Trenton Cole Hughes. Diana Lovelet Johnson. Mackenzie Connor Lang. Brooke Lynn Lucero. Kaylee M. Mashore. Julian Mercado Cosio. Tyler Allen Myers. Desiree Faith Montenegro. Christopher Moore. Shelby Ann Nelson. Cynthia Karina Perez. Eliana Selena Serrano. Joseph Ryan Vasquez. Miranda Vigil. Kendall Elise Weld. Whitney Westfall. The graduates in Human Performance and Physical Education may be seated. Would the graduates in Music please approach the platform? Andreita Duran. Robert R. Grubel. Nicholas Edward Hannon. Emily K. Johnson. Miranda Sue Johnson. Sarah Knight. Madison Pockrass. The graduates in Music may be seated. Would the graduates in Nursing please approach the platform? Christine Anderson. Getamasay Bien. Victoria Campbell. Whitney J. Fields. Taylor Hackett. Layla Hajalogic. Lauren McDonald. Nina Modi Bailey. Susan Neiman. Florence Owusu. Karenza M. Pacheco. Michaela Foot. Pia Rakestra. Megan Robbins. Sheridan Van Hoos. The graduates in nursing may be seated. Would the graduates in psychology please approach the platform? Robin Antone. Christian Cora. Alexa Gerdes. Brianna Bree Leslie Gonzalez. Cameron Noel Lewis. Michael Anthony Lopez. Amanda Martinez. Ariana Martinez. Stephanie Martinez. Caitlin Mercure. Jessica Moorman. Rachel Ringler. Marissa B. Trujillo. Lucas Webster. Elizabeth Weeks. Corey P. Windham. The graduates in psychology may be seated. Would the graduates in sociology please approach the platform? Samantha Archuleta. Matthews Brock IV. Sarah Hansen. Morgan Jackson. Alexa Mackenzie Martirosian. Emily Sharp. Graduates in sociology may be seated. Would the graduates in teacher education please approach the platform? Leanna Brazel. Adriana Brandy Cordova. Terry Island. Callie Fisher. Elias Gedjian. Sydney Gitabudi. Connie Gilstrap. Jorge Hernandez. Joshua J. Fitt. Jenna Livingston. Vega L. Lolahea. Randall Locke.
Dang, I made it.
Valentina Audrey Loza. William Calvin Markertson. Jenny Miller. Colton Royer. Caitlin Erin Sayumi Sachs. Dakota Solis. Natalie Ann Wheelock. The graduates in teacher education may be seated.
With all Bachelors of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Fine Arts graduate, please stand. To signify your new academic status, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Fine Arts graduates may now switch your cap tassels from the right to the left. You may now be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a tradition of long standing at Adams State University to give special recognition to those who graduate with honors. To make their recognition more visible, honors graduates are identified in your programs by the asterisk beside the student's name. Students whose grade point average is 3.5 to 3.74 on a 4-point scale through 4 years may be graduated cum laude or with honors. Students whose grade point average is 3.75 to 3.89 through 4 years may be graduated magna cum laude or with high honors. Students whose grade point average through 4 years is 3.9 or above may be graduated summa cum laude or with highest honors. Would those students graduating cum laude please stand? Please be seated. Would those students graduating magna cum laude please stand? Please be seated. Would those students graduating summa cum laude please stand? Please be seated.
Will you please join me again one more time in showing these graduates standing before us, who are now seated before us, another great show of admiration for their remarkable accomplishments. Thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge our public officials, elected officials who are with us today. Mayor Ty Coleman is here. And Representative Donald Valdez is here. We thank you for your support. I would like to thank the Adams State music students, theater students, and student ambassadors who remained on campus an extra day and contributed to the success of this ceremony. Sarah Knight, soprano and 2019 Adams State music graduate, will now lead us in the singing of the Alma Mater. Will everyone please stand?
Please be seated. Every time. We request that members of the audience remain seated until all the graduates have filed out. Thank you. Will the ushers and banner carriers take their positions, please? Where are they? Oh. Yes. Sorry. Another round of applause for the graduates.